respected chairperson and all delegates. Now I am going to talk on the topic that spirituality and personality among Swadhyayee and Non-Swadhyayee. I am Indian. So the Swadhyayee is a construct which is very popular in Indian context. That before going to take something into my paper, I would like to tell you what Swadhyayee is. Swadhyayee is a Sanskrit word. Swa means self, study. Adhyay means study, self-study. It is a self-study. Swadhyayee is a person who is studying he himself, who he is, on the dais of Swadhyayee principle. And non-Swadhyayee is a person who is not studying Swadhyayee and which is not a spiritual one and also which is not a religious one. This is non-Swadhyayee, non-Swadhyayee and Swadhyayee. Now, what I am going to tell you here is that most important thing here, we are coming here from different countries and we all are culture specific. Our culture is different. And each culture is having its great heritage. Each culture deals with its own norms and values. So like this, the great thinkers, philosophers, spiritualists are there in our own country. They led our country at the top, from bottom to top. There is a great foundation in every country. So India is a country where, our culture is based on certain Upanishads and Vedas. And that is most important thing. The construct, Swadhyayee, is an indigenous concept. Indigenous is nothing but it is from our own soil. What is there in our own. So Bhagavad Gita and Veda, Upanishads are the visions to the world. Based on Swadhyayee, based on Bhagavad Gita, Veda, Upanishad, the Swadhyayee concept is based. So now the architect of Swadhyayee is late Pandurang Shastri Athavale. Affectionately we call him as Dada. He is the architect of Swadhyayee. He led Swadhyayee not only in Maharashtra, not only in Gujarat, not only in nook and corner of the Indian country, Indian state, but everywhere in the world, in the Gulf, in the Arab country, in the Russia, in UK, in America also. We used to go there. And these people, American, are used to go here for Bhakti Peri, for doing any kind of different kind of experiment based on spiritual power, spiritual practices. It has a philosophy. So now, what is there inside my paper is nothing. I am going to study personality and some spirituality, the aspect of mysticism, religion, God, and everything. To me, it is minor thing, but to me, it is very important that the moment which is created by late Pandurang Shastri Athavale is great. Number of thousands of people, not crores of the people who are going absolutely serving selflessly and they are doing self-work. Going there in the villages without any kind of expectation in mind, without taking need, without taking money. They are serving. They are imparting there, not to them, to the people, those who are living there, but they are imparting in such a way that they are learning they themselves. They are going to visit and preach something, means that learning something. This self, we wanted to develop ourselves. So this is our culture, is an indigenous one, which is based on Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana, Mahabharata, Valmiki and Ramanujam, and Shankaracharya, Pandit Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi. All these stalwarts are the philosophers of our Indian country. They led us in a different way to think. Now my paper is based on spirituality. Swadhyayee is based on spiritual power. So now what I want to say here, as far as in introduction I told you what is culture. We are culture specific and we are based on our culture. Culture is dealing with norms and values that direct us. Now the Swadhyayee based culture is a dynamic one. Now the basic concept in my study are what is Swadhyayee. The way I told you. The way is a study of self. Swadhyayee is not a cult. Swadhyayee is not an institution. Swadhyayee is not an organization. Swadhyayee is not a religion. Swadhyayee is a spiritual movement, it is a study of attitude. Swadhyayee is an attitude of the mind. So Swadhyayee is neither a sect, nor a creed, nor a cult, nor a tradition, nor an institution. It is not even an organized religion. It is neither an agitation, nor a revolution. It is an attitude of mind. It is the brotherhood of man under the fatherhood of God. Swadhyayee is self. We are improving ourselves through Swadhyayee practices. Swadhyayee is having philosophy based on Veda and Upanishad. So Panduranga Shastri Atwale is the architect of this. Now Swadhyayee is a movement that aimed at social reformation, spiritual revolution, consideration at the worldly affairs, and earning through sacrifice. Revivalism, reformation, and revolution were the three R's having greater values and under social reformation. This is the way, the importance of this, of my paper is provided to you. Now, the concept used in the study is personality. Personality, do you know? We know. Personality is nothing but a bundle of trait, integrated pattern of trait. It's a dynamism that our trait which we have processed are guiding us, directing us, giving way to our life. So the trait which we have possessed is our personality. Now this is one construct. The another construct in my paper is spiritualism. Now number of definitions of spiritualism are, it's a study of internal art. What is there inside of me? Can you see intellect? Can you see the creativity? Can you see imagination? We cannot see. But the existence of all this is there. We have to increase our mind. We have to increase our power mind. We have to increase our sensitivity. We can increase. We can increase any type of ornament which are there inside our physical body. So through Swadhyayee, through spiritualism, we can. George Matthew is of the view that spiritualism has a basic oriented facet of personality, influencing an individual's moral values, dominant interests, motives, and social attitudes. Now, this is the way the two constructs, two variables in my study are very important. And the review of literature which I have collected, late Panduranga Shastri Atwale and the other Malti John D. Liza and other eminent researchers have supported that those people who are practicing religion, practicing spiritual movement, practicing Swadhyayee like, they have influenced their certain traits of personality. The traits from our personality are emerging from the base of the spiritualism is the conclusion of this research. Now in my paper, what I used, the methodology in which the aim and objective was to study and find out the significant difference between Swadhyayee and Non-Swadhyayee in terms of personality traits and certain aspects of spiritualism such as God, religion, and mysticism. Now, the operational definition, which I think is very important, you might have understood what do we mean by Swadhyayee. Operationally, I have defined that the Swadhyayee is a person who is actively conceived and enrolled in Swadhyayee and following the Swadhyayee philosophy regularly, which is based on God-loving mentality and intellectual love toward God with selfless love and selfless work, practicing the principles of the Swadhyayee since at least 5 years. This is most important. Practicing 3 times prayer, which is known as Trikala Sandhya, daily attended at least 2 devotional tours, which we call it as Bhakti Feri, involved in work devotion, Krati Bhakti, belonging round, Bhav Feri, and various experience of Swadhyayee like abode of immortal, Amritalayam we call it, temple of trees, number of times, and at least past 2 examinations which enhance for learning, for intellectual growth. Such a devotee is called as a Swadhyayee. To me, I have defined operationally Swadhyayee is like this. Now, who is Non-Swadhyayee? It's a simple one. Non-Swadhyayee is a person who is neither involved any kind of religious, spiritual practices, nor any kind of institution or organization. He is not believing on God, like that he is a person who is called as Non-Swadhyayee. Now the operational definition of personality is that all energy level, interpersonal affect, organization, self-esteem and social adroitness participation refers to a high or low score measure on the Jackson personality inventory. And the belief in God, religion and mysticism refers to a high or low score measures on the Matthews materialism spiritualism scale. Now the hypothesis which I frame in my study is that the first one is the Swadhyayees would score high in belief in God, religion and mysticism than the non-Swadhyayee. Second hypothesis which I have framed is Swadhyayees show low level of anxiety and high level on breadth of interest, complexity, responsibility, risk-taking, social adroitness, tolerance and value orthodoxy than non-Swadhyayees. And third one is Swadhyayees show low level of anxiety than non-Swadhyayee. Therefore, in my study, the variables are two. IV and DV, independent variables are Swadhyayee and non-Swadhyayee, and dependent variables are personality and the spiritual aspects such as God, religion and mysticism. The method which I have applied in my study is that sample 270 samples, Swadhyayee and non-Swadhyayee were comprised from the Nastic region of Maharashtra in India. So now 270 active Swadhyayis were selected randomly from around 15,000 Swadhyayis of the Swadhyayee Parivar from the North Maharashtra. Now the tools for this inventory was used is that Jackson personality inventory which measures personality trait and spiritualism, materialism scale which measures spiritualism. Now, you say. Now this is table which is showing that regarding the spiritualism, only I have selected God, religion and mysticism. These are the three very important aspects. Now the conclusion is in front of the obtained mean and SD and T value is there. The obtained mean, the obtained T value seems to be significant. It means that there is a significant difference between the two Swadhyayee and non-Swadhyayee. The Swadhyayis are having greater than the non-Swadhyayee because of the influence of the Swadhyayee Parivar philosophy. And in terms of personality, next, in terms of personality, that you are going to see that the factors of personality are like this. All that breadth of intent, everything, all the way which I mentioned is the trait. And bundle of trait is nothing is personality. So these traits are predominant and which is going to be influenced through Swadhyayee than that of non-Swadhyayee. The Swadhyayee practices influencing the traits. The influence of these traits are spiritual power, and therefore the significant difference between the two, that is Swadhyayee and non-Swadhyayee, can be seen clearly. The T is significant at both the level 0.05 and 0.01 level. The mean is greater of the Swadhyayee than the non-Swadhyayee. It means that my conclusion of the study is that the Swadhyayis are greater in their personality and the spiritual power seems to be greater than the non-Swadhyayee. Why it is? Because the way at early in the beginning I told you, we are culture specific. Veda and Upanishads are there, which is focusing on the world, and Gita on which the Swadhyayee is based. It is study. You see, always on the dais we are very democratic, and when we are going down from the dais, we are seems to be autocratic. So nobody is going to be practiced. Gita is telling shlokas, but we know shloka. Nobody is practicing accordingly. Swadhyayee Parivar person, those who are involved, actually they are practicing, and therefore, because of that effect, they seems to be having developed their traits. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have time for one question. Have we got one question?
Swadhyayee is related to Hindu religion or those. Secondly, I would like
yes,
to
I understood that what you want to say. Swadhyayee is not a religion, not a cult, not a party, not an organization, not an institution. It has been said that it is attitude of the mind. His question is that, is it related to any specific cult, caste? No. Anyone, a Muslim also, a Hindu also, a Christian also, any person is going to be included in that, going to be joined in that. There is no limitation at all. Because why? We are the brothers of the universe. Huh? Because your blood and my blood is the same, your blood and my blood, regardless of any caste and creed, is red. And this is common because therefore you are my brothers. This is the concept which is accepted, regardless of any caste and creed. Everyone is allowed in Swadhyayee Parivar. Parivar is family.